I was friends with this kid, Brett, and for some reason he got mad at me, and I don't even know what it was over, but one day he told me that if I got near him, he would beat the shit out of me, so I stayed away from him. And sure enough, the next day, written on our hallway, where all the lockers were, was Adam Ressa is a Jew. And the security guard in the school took me back to the office, and he asked me if I knew why I was there, and I said yes. And he said, you know, in our school we don't tolerate people writing profanity like that. And I didn't know if I was more upset because someone wanted to hurt me so bad by writing something in public view, or if it was the fact that everybody thought that the term Jew was a profanity.
I was in a new school, new state, all of that, and I remember I liked this one guy. And we went out, we dated, you know, and childlike. And I remember after that, he had, with his friend, told me that it was a joke and that they just did that just to be mean and to make fun of me. And that the reason why was because of the fact that I had hair in my arms. And that was a guy thing. So I got made fun of because I had hairy arms. I felt ugly, and he said I was ugly. And I was ugly for that, and I thought, I can't be pretty because of the fact that this is something that guys have, not girls.
I've kind of always been like athletic one. I've always been like the girl with all the guy friends. I didn't date a lot at all. The girl friends I had were very minimal, like one or two, but I always had a lot of guy friends, which I was happy about until people started spreading rumors about me. And some of the worst moments where one time I did have a group of the more popular guys come up to me, and one of them asked me out. Now, not getting a lot of those offers by guys, I got excited and I said yes. And then they kind of walked away laughing, saying like they would ever date me.
Throughout elementary school and middle school and high school, I've been bullied for various things. I was in a wheelchair, I had a learning disability, I had an eating disorder for a while, but by far my worst memory of my entire educational career was when I was actually a bully. And I didn't even know I was a bully. It was harassment through ignorance. My father tried to explain it to me once, and I foolishly ignored it because everyone was doing it. And that's no excuse, but that's why it happened. It was the use of the word gay. We used it for everything. The teacher was gay, this test was gay, this homework is gay. And to us, it didn't mean anything except for the word stupid. But we had no idea that we were harming people, that we were isolating people. My father, at one point, pulled both my friend and I aside after hearing us say that, and he told us that in the professional world, in the real world, that saying something like that's considered a hate crime, that it's going to get you fired. And thank goodness, eventually I stopped saying it. I learned, I grew wiser. I wasn't as stupid, essentially. But for years I said that, and damage was already done. My friend Tim, who later came out as a homosexual, and who I'm still friends with now, thank goodness that he's forgiven us. But he said a lot of times he would go home at night. He would feel isolated and hurt, and he wouldn't hang out with anyone. He refused to make friends because of a word that we just said in passing, and casually, that we just threw around this word, and we had no idea.
I had a lot of hard times finding friends, but I grew up and I started to realize that it wasn't something I wanted to change. You know, the girls that I did want to be friends with understood that, and you know, I realized I didn't need to have a boyfriend to have approval, and I started looking at myself and figuring out what I wanted and not what I thought other people wanted of me, and I realized that made me more happy.
I remember there being one time I came back home from school and I cried about it, and I said, you know what, I'm just gonna shave my arm, I'm just gonna get rid of it, that's it, and I'm not gonna deal with it. And so when I picked up the razor and I went to do it, I thought to myself, I said, why am I doing this? So I didn't do it, and I didn't do it because I thought that if I started doing things for someone else, I would start to lose who I was. And at the end of the day, no one has to be or live with you but yourself, you know, and I decided not to.
These problems, bullying, are real, and people will fall through the cracks if you don't pay attention to them.
Ignorance is just a form of bullying. Not knowing better doesn't excuse it. Ignorance can hurt people, and it's embarrassing.
Hi, I'm Devin DiLucia, Director and Producer of Dog Sees God, Confessions of a Teenage Blockhead.
And I'm Brian Gutierrez, Assistant Director of Dog Sees God. If you've ever been bullied or unfairly labeled by society,
You can relate to our cast and the personal stories they just shared. Our production showcases the impact of stereotyping through realistic dialogue and characters we all know and love. Through comedy and drama, you see the consequences of bullying.
ticket sales and donations not only support our production, but also support Central Florida anti-bullying efforts. For more information, visit www.dogseesgodorlando.com and join our social community at #DSGOrlando, as well as facebook.com/dogseesgodorlando.
Join us for one of our shows on March 14th, 15th, or 16th at the venue on Virginia Drive in downtown Orlando to take a stance against bullying.